2015, I was a founder of Black Lives Matter in St. Paul. I believe the organization stood for exactly what the name implies. Black lives do matter. However, after a year on the inside, I learned they had little concern for rebuilding black families.
Black Lives Matter has been taking L's for the past couple weeks. The co-founder of Black Lives Matter was exposed for super grifting, making millions, billions of dollars, buying all kinds of mansions across the United States of America, while peddling the message that black people are oppressed and cannot achieve such a thing. But there she is, right? So she's been exposed. She stepped down, claiming that she's going to move on to bigger and better things because she's so oppressed, right? She's got another book deal. She got a deal on television with Warner Brothers because black people are just so oppressed, right? Yeah, that's where we're at, okay? But Black Lives Matter has really been getting exposed these past couple weeks. And I'm going to show you guys a series of stories. Number one, we're going to talk about tonight, black mothers. Breonna Taylor's mother already came out and exposed BLM for being grifters and using photos of her dead daughter and using her dead daughter's name to raise millions of dollars and her not seeing a dime. Okay, so now more mothers are coming out that have experienced the death of their black children and accusing Black Lives Matter of doing the same thing. Okay, so now all these black mothers are starting to come out and accuse Black Lives Matter and expose Black Lives Matter for not giving a damn about their kids other than using them and branding them as dead blacks to raise millions of dollars in this country. I've been saying this for months. I get called a white supremacist. I hate black people. I'm this. I'm racist. Da-da-da-da-da. Okay, well, now you got mothers of black children that Black Lives Matter has branded now coming out and calling them frauds. Okay? So now that's where we are. And we're also going to talk about a Black Lives Matter activist, former Black Lives Matter activist, that has now publicly come out, aggressively come out, and exposed the organization for being the fraudulent organization that they are, for not giving a damn about black families. Okay? Now, it's interesting because now you have black people coming out and exposing Black Lives Matter. So now we're going to see just exactly where this goes. But before we do, welcome to Drew Hernandez Live. My name is Drew Hernandez, hopefully one of your favorite podcast hosts here on YouTube. This show is 100% supported by you, the people. So if you guys would like to support us, you can give a one-time donation in the link in the description in my bio at drhlive.com, on Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, or you can join the DH Alliance tonight. We salute you for as low as $5 a month, monthly, on the membership section on this channel. Or you can check out the merch store. The link is in the description below. Cop a t-shirt, male, female, all that good stuff. That is how you guys can support me. Or you can drop a super chat below right now in the middle of the show or at the end of the show. That is how you guys can support us. We're 100% supported by you, okay? This show is supported only by you, the people. Or guys, if you could do me a huge favor and share this video far and wide, wherever you could post a link on your Gab, Twitter, Facebook, wherever, on your Parler, all that good stuff. Also, smash that like button, destroy that like button, drop your city, your state, your country, wherever you're tuning in from tonight. Thank you guys very much. This is the way. So I wanted to get that out of the way and really break this down tonight. So here we go. Let's get this up. So now mothers criticize Black Lives Matter activists for profiting off their dead sons. Okay, now I'm very interested to see how the radical left responds to these things because these are mothers of dead black children that Black Lives Matter has branded and profited from to make millions of dollars and manipulate the minds of millions of woketards to believe that black people are being slaughtered in the streets. And while in the process, not giving a damn anything to these families, which is hilarious because they're literally branded Black Lives Matter, but all they do is brand black dead people and can give a damn about their family, right? Yeah, we're supposed to believe that black people really love each other when they do things like this. Sorry, I don't. Call me racist, call me whatever the hell you want, but this doesn't make any sense to me. Here we go. So grief-stricken mothers who have accused Black Lives Matter of profiting from the deaths of their sons condemned the group's embattled co-founder, Patrice Cullors, after she announced she was stepping down from the movement. I don't believe she is going anywhere, Samaria Rice, the mother of a 12-year-old boy shot by Cleveland police while playing with a toy gun, told the Post. It's all a facade. She's only saying that to get the heat off of her right now. Lisa Simpson, a Los Angeles-based mother whose son was slain by police in 2016, also blasted Cooler, saying, now she doesn't have to show her accountability. Simpson, 52, told the Post, she can just take the money and run. Cooler is the executive director of the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation, announced on Thursday she was leaving the group a month after the Post reported on her $3.2 million real estate buying spree because black people are so oppressed, and questions about the group's finances. Coolers did not respond to a request for comment. She has said her departure had been in the works for a year, of course. Just stacking that money, son, getting ready to dip. She has said her departure had been in the works for a year and was not tied to what she called right-wing attacks that tried to discredit my character. Rice, 44, told the Post she first sought out Coolers to enlist the group's help to reopening a federal investigation into her son's 2014 death. She said she exchanged a few emails with Coolers over the years, but had never managed a face-to-face meeting. Because black people care about each other so much, right? They are benefiting off the blood of our loved ones, and they won't even talk to us. Because Black Lives Matter, right? Said Rice, who has also blasted activists Sean King and Tamika Mallory, whose speech at the Grammy Awards in March called on African Americans to demand the freedom that this land promises. In March, Rice joined with Simpson, the mother of Richard Risher, to blast Black Lives Matter for, as Simpson put it, raising money in our dead sons' names and giving us nothing in return. That is a quote. Let me read that again. In March, Rice joined with Simpson, the mother of Richard Risher, to blast Black Lives Matter for, as Simpson put it, and I quote, raising money in our dead sons' names and giving us nothing in return, end quote. Because black people just love each other so much, Black Lives Matter. BLM's Los Angeles chapter raised $5,000 for her son's funeral, but Simpson claims she never received any of it. Black Lives Matter. We never hired them to be the representatives in the fight for justice for our dead loved ones murdered by the police, said the statement by Rice and Simpson, posted on March 16th by activists. I don't even know how to pronounce this. The activists have events in our cities and have not given us anything substantial for using our loved ones. Images and names on their flyers. We don't want or need y'all parading in the streets, accumulating donations, platforms, movie deals, etc. off the death of our loved ones while the families and communities are left clueless and broken. Because Black Lives Matter. Tamika Palmer, the mother of Breonna Taylor, who was shot dead in a police raid at her home in Louisville, Kentucky, said the movement also failed her as well. I have never personally dealt with BLM Louisville and personally have found them to be fraud. Palmer wrote in an April 14th Facebook post that was quickly removed. Palmer did not return the post's repeated calls, of course, because she's probably getting death threats. In addition to the mother's BLM Global Network Foundation also faced criticisms from their own members last year. In an open letter, 10 local BLM groups ripped the foundation for what they called a lack of accountability and transparency. Now, let me remind you, this isn't white right-wingers that are exposing these people. These are black people that are exposing these people. I just want to remind y'all out there, before all the woke tards out there like, oh my God, these are just white supremacists attacking blacks. No, these are black people that are coming out and exposing who these damn people really are. A few months later, BLM Global Network Foundation disclosed that it had raised $90 million in donations, fueling even more criticism. On November 22nd, 2014, this just goes over all the shootings and what happened. And we'll end it right there. So let's take this down. Now listen, guys. What have I been telling you guys? I've been saying this on this show time after time. Whenever I'm on TV, I'm constantly saying this, that Black Lives Matter doesn't give a damn about black people. It's not about that, okay? All Black Lives Matter does, their main brand are dead blacks at the hands of police officers, regardless of the context. They don't care what happened. They don't even want to know what happened. They just see dollar signs every time they see a dead black that was shot by a police officer or that was killed by a police officer. Doesn't matter what happened. Doesn't matter whose fault it was. All they say is Black Lives Matter, and all that matters to these people is dollar signs that they raise off the dead bodies of black people in this country. That's it. They don't give a damn. This is why they don't talk about black on black crime. This is why they don't talk about how black people are slaughtering each other in Chicago, in Detroit, all over the nation. Black on black crime is worse than police officers killing black people in this country, but Black Lives Matter never wants to talk about it. Does it make sense now to all you woke Wookiees and woke tards out there? Every time, listen, isn't it interesting how every time, what does Black Lives Matter instruct all their woke tards? If anyone ever comes to you, this is all you ever hear. If anyone ever comes to you and says, how come you guys don't talk about the black on black crime? What are they instructed to say? What do you always hear every single time from these people? That's not what Black Lives Matter is about. Are you that stupid? Can you not comprehend that this is all you ever hear from these white woke Wookie woke tards, always, even on Twitter. They're probably watching right now. I see this all the time. You guys are morons, literally morons, okay? They want you saying this because it runs cover for them, because they're grifting and using moron woke tards out there to give them cover. It makes sense. I hope it makes sense to you now. Because once you come out and say, well, Black Lives Matter is about police brutality, that's it. It's not about black on black crime. There's other organizations for that. So why aren't they getting millions and billions of dollars? It's by design, because everybody now knows that these people don't give a damn. And we know the statistics of police brutality against blacks, and they don't add up. These people call it a genocide. So this is why they instruct their white allies, the woke tards on the left, to come out and say, but Black Lives Matter is not about black on black crime. It's about blacks being slaughtered by police officers and white killer cops. Well, what are the statistics? Can you give them to me? No! White supremacist, racist. Are you calling black people liars? Well, yeah, if you can't back it up with facts. White supremacist, racist! That's how it works. That's the grift. And they just shut you up. They shut you down. And it's funny, because these white woke tards on the left are just used. It's just, and it's interesting because the black community has been hijacked. I don't know if you guys heard Biden today speaking in Tulsa. Again, he literally says that black people don't have accountants or lawyers. It's like as if O.J. Simpson never existed. Are you freaking kidding me? Come on, bro. Black people don't have accountants or lawyers? LeBron James has a net worth of over $500 million. Come on, dude. And it's funny because Joe Biden talks about blacks as if they're like some freaking third world country people that live in some rural area that don't have lawyers. Are you kidding me? This is what I don't understand about the black community. Why do you guys let these people talk about you as if you live in a third world country and are uneducated, too poor, and cannot do a damn thing for yourself in this country? I don't get it. I don't understand why blacks just tolerate this stuff. Listen, you think I'm offensive because I say the word blacks or because I say the word you people. You get offended by that when you got Joe Biden, the 46th president of the United States, talking about black people as if they come from a third world country. They don't have accountants. They don't have lawyers. And I'm the offensive one? It's like, bro, this guy talks about you guys like you're freaking primitive. Literally. That's how Joe Biden views black people. And I'm the offensive one because I just have the nerve to sit here and call it out and say what it is and call it out for what it is. Listen, what's the point I'm trying to make? This is what we've all been saying. Black Lives Matter doesn't care about black people. The Democrat Party needs Black Lives Matter because it peddles the race baiting theory. They want a race war between whites and between blacks, even though there's literally no statistical evidence to back up anything Black Lives Matter has been preaching since their existence and their conception. And here we are. Now they're being exposed. All the white Wookiees, all the woke tards that are bowing down to black people on freaking national television in 2020 during the George Floyd riots. Do you feel stupid now? Literally? Because I hope you do. I really hope you feel like a moron right now. These people used you. They lied to you. You thought you were some white ally while Patrisse Cullors is just stacking cash. While she's claiming that what she's accomplished cannot exist. While mothers of dead black children that they used images of, that they used their names of, they put them on flyers, put them on t-shirts. They just got millions, billions of dollars of donations from all these white woke tards on the left. Oh, we feel so sorry for the blacks. And literally, the mothers are now coming out and saying, y'all didn't help us. They took advantage of us and our children. This is who Black Lives Matter is. Not only are they violent, not only do they call for violence, not only do they call for the destabilization of the United States of America, they literally finesse and they grift and take advantage and manipulate even black people themselves. This goes back to the same narrative that the black community needs to get their crap together and start treating themselves with respect if they want us to believe them that they wanted to be treated with respect. The black community and Hispanics, I'm not letting y'all go. Hispanics are right behind them. We need to get these damn communities in order, get our crap together if we want the rest of the world to take us serious, okay? Because you got all these black people out here complaining, especially on the left. Oh, we're victims, we're so poor, we're this, we're that. Why don't you wake up to the reality that the president of the United States is the one that's telling you that? Literally. The black community is slaughtering itself. Literally, that's a fact. Look at Chicago. Look at Detroit. You got blacks that are killing each other every single day. That is a problem. That is worse than police brutality, okay? And that is happening every single day, and it's been happening for years. And Hispanics are right behind them. Not only that, the black community has been committing its own self-inflicted genocide for decades, murdering their own babies in the womb, wondering why they're minorities. It's like, why are we such minorities? Why are black people so low in numbers? Because you keep killing yourselves. That's why. Does it make sense to you who the real racists are? The Democrat Party that wants the black community to slaughter itself every single day by the millions. And you guys defend it. My body, my choice. Why are we so minorities? Why are the white people the majority in this country? Why are we so outnumbered by white people? Maybe because the white Democrats during the Margaret Sanger era convinced all the blacks that it was a good thing to be sterilized, including abortion. And here we are in 2021 where you've been convinced that it's somehow a good thing to slaughter babies in the black womb. I'm just saying, bro. The black community sits here and freaking wonder. They got to freaking twiddling their thumbs like, why are we so, oh my goodness, why are we so outnumbered in the mind? Well, maybe because you guys are literally committing your own self-inflicted genocide on a daily freaking basis. You know that's by design, right? Oh, but I'm the wrong one, right? Yeah, I'm the offensive one. I'm the one that's got to go, right? And I wonder how churches feel. You know, especially some Calvary chapels and some, so-called Bible-believing churches that were all Black Lives Matter, buying into the critical race theory. Let's infuse the critical race theory indoctrination in some of our biblical classes. You've seen this in Orange County. Calvary Chapel, Costa Mesa was one of them. Grifter Pastor Brian Broderson. The guy's a coward. I wonder how that woke tard feels right now. Learning all these things about Black Lives Matter, how they've taken advantage of black people and their money, okay? And black mothers, how they've used their children as poster children, dead black poster children to raise millions of dollars, not help the family at all. And now all these people are being exposed. I hope you feel proud of yourself, all you woke-tard pastors that got behind Black Lives Matter, virtue signaling, thinking that this stuff was actually real. Shame on you. You should resign. You should not be shepherding a flock because you have been deceived and you are trash. Sick of these freaking woke-tard pastors that sit here. Oh, we got to get behind Black Lives Matter. The black people are so oppressed. It's all a lie. Doctrines of demons, son. These people are Marxists. They are infused with doctrines of demons. That is what the Apostle Paul warned of. And you have woke-tard pastors like Brian Broderson of Calvary Chapel, Costa Mesa, coming out and supporting BLM as if it's a good thing. It's like, Drew, when did he ever support? The guy posts a black square. Remember the black square thing in 2020? And puts hashtag BLM. We need to sit down, stop, and listen, and all this garbage. I call people out by name because I don't give a damn, bro. People think I'm offensive. Get out of here, man. I can care less at this point. I really can, because these things are damaging our lives. These things are destroying property. These people have committed over $2 billion in damage in the United States of America. People died because of the George Floyd riots. People got killed. Innocent people that have nothing to do with racism or whites against blacks. If you're in a church right now that is peddling this Black Lives Matter, critical race theory garbage, that church is not being led by the Spirit of God and the Bible, okay? Because that church has bit and has bought into doctrines of demons. These people are Marxists. Karl Marx and his ideology are responsible for the death over 100 million people worldwide. Mao, Stalin, Castro, you name it. That's what these people believe and they want to implement in this country. Don't get mad at me, pastor. You're the woke-tard that can't see this stuff. And you actually think that BLM is about black people? My goodness. If you're following a pastor that cannot see through that, you need to leave that church like immediately tonight. Okay? Because that is not a church. These are doctrines of demons. These people don't believe in biblical values. Black Lives Matter does not believe in traditional marriage. They reject the existence of God. They don't believe that the man is the head of the household, which is a biblical value. So if your pastor doesn't understand that or can't comprehend that, then his house is probably not in order, and he is by default disqualified by the Bible, 1 Timothy chapter 2, to lead God's church. Period. That's where I leave it. You cannot support an organization and call yourself a pastor that is 100% anti-biblical values that has such a massive impact in the world. If you're following a church that supports that, you need to leave immediately and find one that supports the Bible. I'll tell you right now, the Bible is in direct opposition towards Black Lives Matter and the values. I'll tell you that right now. Straight up. But that's another episode for another day. Yep. Well, let's continue. So here is the Black Lives Matter activist that has now recently come out and exposed Black Lives Matter for who they really are. Now, at first he was a Black Lives Matter protest leader, very involved in Minneapolis, the epicenter, until he realized, okay, listen, pastor, if there's Christians listening, a Black Lives Matter activist. I don't know if this guy's a Christian, okay? I don't know. But a Black Lives Matter activist, because Black Lives Matter had on their own website, but when guys like me started going on Tucker Carlson and pointing these things out, they deleted it, okay? Black Lives Matter willfully admitted publicly that they are invested in the destabilization of the nuclear family. That is 100% against God's design. You have to understand that, okay? God established that. Genesis, God established male, female, family unit. Husband, wife, Adam, Eve, family unit. God did that. Humans didn't do that. God did that, okay? So if you got a pastor that cannot understand this, that guy's not a pastor, okay? If you're in a church that cannot understand this and elders cannot see this, then you need to leave that church. I'm going to be straight up with you, okay? But the point I'm trying to make is Black Lives Matter was openly public about their agenda to destabilize the nuclear family in the United States of America. Black Lives Matter on their own website was intentional that they wanted to cultivate lesbian and trans women leaders above men. That was their intention of grooming in the United States of America. All these biblical values that have been violated, just two right off the bat. Right off the bat. Okay? So the reason why I say this is I don't know if this guy's a Christian, but the one thing that bothered this activist that you're going to see is that he saw that BLM was against black families. That's what people don't see. Black Lives Matter, but you're for destabilizing the nuclear family. That's blacks too. And a lot of people they missed that. They thought they were just talking about whites or, you know what I'm saying? But Black Lives Matter is talking about blacks too. They want to destabilize, okay, the black family too. They don't want a father in the home. This is why they were so focused on raising lesbian, female, trans women, black leaders in BLM. This was all on their website. They took this crap down because people like me were coming out and saying, dude, look at this. This is what you support? Listen, I went on Fox News and was it Fox? I don't remember where I was, but I remember the day I came out and I said the Black Lives Matter website literally mirrors the second chapter of the Communist Manifesto, and it does. If you can find that, I think they took it off their website, but I started saying stuff like, I don't think I'm the one that did it, but people like me were coming out and saying this stuff because it was true on news, on Fox, on Newsmax, everywhere. And then they started taking it down off the website. You want to know why they took it down? It's not because they don't believe that. It's because now they're exposed. And now people are going to see that and they're going to lose support. So it's not that they took that down because they repented and like, oh, we're wrong. We change our ways. No, they still believe that crap, bro. They just want to hide it now. Now, the reason why I say that is I don't know if this guy's a Christian, but he took issue with the fact that Black Lives Matter was intention about destabilizing the nuclear family, which includes black families. As a Christian, that should definitely concern you because that's an attack on God's institution. That's an attack on God's design. Okay, that goes back to Genesis. But it's interesting that this activist took issue with that because he realized that this organization doesn't give a damn about black people because if you don't give a damn about black families, then black lives do not matter to you, period. I think that's the conclusion that this guy came to. So here's the full video. Take a look.
In 2015, I was a founder of Black Lives Matter in St. Paul. I believe the organization stood for exactly what the name implies. Black lives do matter. However, after a year on the inside, I learned they had little concern for rebuilding black families, and they cared even less about improving the quality of education for students in Minneapolis. That was made clear when they publicly denounced charter schools alongside the teachers union. I was an insider in Black Lives Matter, and I learned the ugly truth. The moratorium on charter schools does not support rebuilding the black family, but it does create barriers to a better education for black children. I resigned from Black Lives Matter after a year and a half.
And good for him. Good for him. Whatever your views on charter schools are, those are different views. I'm pretty sure he has probably some very liberal views still. But I commend the guy for taking a stand against an organization that is attempting to gain a monopoly on blacks, and that is manipulating blacks, and that is branding dead blacks in order to profit themselves while telling blacks that they're oppressed. So I commend a black guy that comes out and starts speaking out against this stuff that was once on their side. That's a very hard thing to do. And I commend the guy for doing that. So let's get this article up. Just to get a couple of details on Breitbart. Former Black Lives Matter activist, I learned the ugly truth. A former BLM activist who now serves as executive director of the Minnesota Parent Union revealed he learned the ugly truth about Black Lives Matter, including that the radical group has little concern for rebuilding black families and even less for improving education for black children. They don't care about that because they'll turn around and say, well, we're more focused on police brutality against blacks. And there's no evidence to back that up. It's a grift. It's a scam. That's all it is. Just to raise billions of dollars off of a lie. How do we know that now? Because Patrisse Cullors has been exposed for that. Notice how Patrisse Cullors didn't deny any of it. Did you guys notice that? She didn't deny nothing. She just resigned. Why do you think the mothers are so pissed? In a video published Wednesday by Take Charge, a Minnesota-based black-led movement that rejects critical race theory and woke culture. Okay, well, maybe he isn't a leftist. Rejects critical race theory and woke culture. Rashad Turner described how he became a founder of BLM in St. Paul, but came to realize after only a year on the inside of the organization that caring for black lives, black children, and black families was the least of the radical group's concerns. But Black Lives Matter. But Black Lives Matter. Let's take this down. A couple things that I want to say about this is I'm really glad this is happening because I think people do need to wake up to the reality of how seriously fake and fraudulent this organization has been. It's kind of like what you're seeing with everything in COVID right now, right? Have you guys noticed that? All this stuff that Alex Jones was talking about coming true. All this stuff that Donald Trump was saying. Virus could have came from where? You know where, right? And now CNN is coming out and confirming that that's a possibility, okay? And they're not denying it any longer. It's the same thing. We've been telling people about Black Lives Matter all 2020. We've been telling people about Black Lives Matter for years. This is who they are. This is what they believe. They're fraudulent, and we all got called white supremacists and racists for it. And here we are in 2021, where now you even have black mothers, right, that had their sons, children killed by police officers that have been branded by Black Lives Matter, who have not received anything from the organization. If that doesn't tell you anything, then I cannot help you at this point. They don't want the black family to thrive. They want the black family to suffer. This is why BLM will not address it, because they don't give a damn. You have to have families in society thriving. You have to have them healthy. You have to have them in a position where they're going to be able to expand. You have to have them in a position where they'll be able to have a healthy family environment in order to have any kind of success in a society. The family unit matters. This is true in the black community. This is true in the white community. This is true in the brown community. This is true in the Asian community. The family unit does matter. Black Lives Matter neglects this, and they were openly public about destabilizing the nuclear family, the family unit, the family system, what God has designed, literally, where you have a husband, you have a father in the home, you have a mother, you have a wife in the home, and you have the children, the entire design. This is why they said it was a Western civilization thing. That's what they said. They want to destabilize that. They want to redo the whole thing. That's what they want. They don't care about black families. They don't want black families to succeed. They want them poor. They want them victims. They want black people to appear to be oppressed. They want black people in the streets. They want them homeless. The Democrats especially, they don't want them succeeding because then their narrative dies and goes away. It's been like that with the Democrat Party for decades. But the more sinister part too is this so-called black-led organization that is so-called the voice for black people who are oppressed. They have the same ideology as well. Black Lives Matter does not want black people liberated. Black Lives Matter does not want black people successful. Black Lives Matter does not want black people, okay, living an amazing life where and why? Where they will not be able to be pointed at as victims anymore. That is why they don't want this. This is why Patrisse Cullors doesn't deny the accusations. This is why Patrisse Cullors has made an empire on telling blacks that they're victims, put massive amounts of cash in her pockets, and went on to gain a television deal with Warner Brothers. Does that make sense to you? She needs that narrative and that lie. They don't want black people. Listen, they want black people victims. They want you living in the ghetto. They want you living like trash. They want you thinking you're an animal. They want you to think you're too uneducated. They want you because that's what takes you out into the streets. If they have that narrative alive, then they will forever have something to preach in the mainstream and rack in dollar signs. And to Democrats and politicians, that means they rack in votes. But for some reason, the black community on the left just cannot and will not wake up to this. I don't know why. I really don't know why. I don't know what's up. I don't know what it is with these people where this stuff is just out in the open. Literally. You have Joe Biden talking about blacks today as if they're coming from a third world country. Like they're too stupid. Black people don't have lawyers? What the hell is that? Listen, I know it's nothing new, but I still got to say these things because there's people that watch this show. And there's people that disagree with me that watch this show. And as we go along in history, as a commentator, some of you guys that watch this show, you don't understand what it's like to be on the other side of the camera. You're just watching, okay? As you're a host, as you're someone that's a voice, out in the world, you're always aware that someone is going to have that moment, right? Someone is going to have that moment where it clicks. Maybe that is where you were in your life one day. Maybe someday, you didn't get it. It's nothing new, right? But someday you heard it for the first time. Maybe you heard it from Alex Jones. You heard it from Ben Shapiro. You heard it from Candace Owens, or you heard it from Drew Hernandez, or you heard it from Dave Rubin, or you heard it from Glenn Beck, or I don't know, Tucker Carlson. It's nothing new, right? Still has to be said because there's people out there that I believe that were once like maybe you, where it didn't click yet, but they finally heard it and it finally corresponded with the reality. And they're like, you know what? Damn, it's true. I'm fully aware this is nothing new, but as a host, I don't know if people, can relate to this. You're fully aware that there's people out there that need to hear it. They need to hear it. And they always will. And another thing I'll say is this is, this is what we need more of. We need more black people. How do we, I think and I'm talking philosophically, I'm not talking violently, okay, YouTube. I think the greatest weapon that we have, obviously our weapons are spiritual, they're not carnal. We have prayer, we consult in God, but sometimes God calls us to do something, right? To say something, to get active with our faith. Faith without works is dead. So what I think is, I think the greatest weapon against Black Lives Matter and this critical race theory and these neo-Marxists, black people need to start doing this. Black people that disagree with this, black people that want nothing to do with this in the sense that they don't agree that they're victims, that they can see that Black Lives Matter is fraudulent, that they can see that Patrice Cullors has used the death of black kids to enrich herself, okay? We need more black people to start coming out and speaking out against these people. Yes, they'll still try and spin it, call you a racist or something, discredit you. But if we get more black people to start coming out and just condemning the hell out of this organization, more than the mothers, more than this former activist, I'm telling you, man, black people really want to do something. You need to do this. This, in my opinion, this is the black community's moment right now. This is it. Because you got an organization out here that has hijacked you, that has gained a monopoly on you. Listen, I get it, and I know how black people are. Extremely passionate like me. You're hearing me say this, and you're like, that don't represent me. The hell? I don't believe in that. Okay, well, you need to get more vocal and more public about it because your voice needs to be heard. I can assure you right now, these people have gained a monopoly on you. This is why Joe Biden literally has the nerve and the audacity to go on stage today in front of millions of people, in front of the whole world, and say that black people cannot get lawyers and accountants. And there you are sitting at home like, what? So you talking about me like I freaking live in Africa, I don't know, 500 years ago or something. Yes, that's how these people view you. Why do you think I've started getting so vocal? You guys, listen, this is the moment, I believe, for the black community to come out and start saying something, condemning this organization as a unit, as a group, and saying, no, these people do not represent us. These people will not manipulate our communities. These people are not our voice. I know there's a lot of black people that are, but I think there needs to be more. Because this organization is just too powerful at this point, man. That's my encouragement to the black community. Just being honest, man. Just being honest. Okay, so here's another L. Okay, for those of you that don't know what the term L means, it means a loss, okay? Now, this one is rather disturbing, okay? So let's get this up. BLM activist. Let me pause this. Why is this? Oops. I don't know why that's doing that. BLM activist steps down from school board after allegations he molested up to 62 children. Read that one more time. BLM activist steps down from school board after allegations he molested up to 62 children. From the Post-Millennial. Denver school board director at large Tay Anderson, a fervent Black Lives Matter activist, is accused of molesting over 60 undocumented students, using the residency status of the children to target kids as young as 14 years old. I'm just going to report this because I'm just going to leave it at that. A parent delivered legislative testimony last Tuesday claiming there is an unidentified sexual predator within the school system who has targeted students. Brooks Fleming told the committee that 62 individuals had sought help handling the unnamed perpetrator. The abusive experiences ranged from unwanted touching to violent acts of rape, the woman said. 61 of the victims lacked documentation or were recipients of the Deferred Action of Child Arrivals, DACA, with the youngest children just as 14 years old, Brooks Fleming stated. Mary Catherine Brooks Fleming, a parent of 3 Denver public school students, spoke to the State House Judiciary Committee during public testimony in support of legislation that would make it easier for victims to sue institutions who employ child sexual abusers. Those who came to my home didn't have health insurance, couldn't afford emergency rooms, and even if they could, they wanted to avoid mandatory reporters for fear that such an interaction could jeopardize their family. Brooks Fleming said in the legislative testimony, "It is horrifying to realize that someone had preyed on these children, knowing their silence was guaranteed." Brooks Fleming has volunteered at Blue Bench, a nonprofit organization that aids sexual assault victims. Anderson, an elected Democrat on the education board, has been under investigation by the school district for other sexual assault allegations. An anonymous complaint published by Black Lives Matter 5280. So Black Lives Matter has even come out and put on Twitter mention of sexual assault and commitment to restorative justice. So they came out and made a statement. The Denver Public Schools School Board hired outside firm investigation law group on May 18th. The school board said the firm was conducting final interviews and was expected to produce its report within the next 30 days. However, Brooks Fleming's testimony came after the announcement was made and that the district said Friday the investigation remains open. In an email statement sent to the Denver Post on Friday night, the Denver Public Schools Board of Education wrote, "The board was made aware of testimony at the Colorado Capitol this week and was later informed that the accusations were against Director Tay Anderson. The Denver police are also aware," the email said. Isn't that funny? You know, Black Lives Matter gets involved and they wanted to fund the police, and now they got rape accusations with one of their activists. Now all of a sudden the police are kind of looking into them. I just find that ironic. Anderson has since called the accusations unsubstantiated false accusations. He announced via Sunday press release that he will be stepping back from everyday board functions until the independent investigation is completed, but is confident the ongoing probe will prove Anderson's innocence. "I look forward to returning in the coming months to continue the fight for Denver students," Anderson wrote, adding that he will refrain from comments until then. Let's take this down. So I'm going to leave this story at that. I just wanted to update you guys that this is an ongoing story. This so-called BLM activist has now stepped down on the Board of Education because of these accusations of raping over 62 undocumented immigrants or undocumented children, which is very interesting. Obviously, people are innocent until proven guilty. So we will keep checking in on this story as we go along. So let's do some super chats tonight, you guys. If you guys would like to support the show, and just to give you guys a quick update about our Tucson, Arizona southern border trip that we did go last week, but we ran into some problems. The Border Patrol agents were not as friendly as they usually are, was trying to figure out why, and we weren't able to get some of this footage because the way that it happened was a very tight spot at the Tucson, Arizona southern border. So we're going to reschedule to go down there, but we were told, which is ironic, we went down to the Tucson, Arizona southern border. Border Patrol agents told us that unless you are, now this is what's weird, unless you're authorized, you cannot be on the road in the United States of America on the opposite side of the wall. Now, I didn't want to make any issues. I didn't want to get into a fight or anything like that. So, we just complied and, we're going to reschedule to go down. But it was interesting because I find it interesting because I was wondering to myself, I cannot, as an American, supposedly, according to this Border Patrol agent, I cannot, as an American, be on American soil on the other side, on the American side of the southern border, but you'd have illegals coming from Mexico through the Mexico southern border, walking into the country. They get apprehended. They get taken care of. They get unvetted, by the way. They get put on an airplane and sent to an American city. So these people could just walk straight in. But I, as an American, cannot walk around on American soil at the southern border myself. I don't know. Thought it was interesting. But that did happen this past weekend, so we weren't able to do as much as we wanted. So we will be rescheduling our Tucson, Arizona trip. So I just wanted to update all of you guys that did donate for that trip. We're going to do it again, so don't worry. Just wanted to be transparent and honest with you guys as to what happened last weekend. So yes, if you guys would like to... if you guys would like to support the show, like I said, we are 100% supported by you guys. So we'll do some super chats. If you guys drop a donation through my website on Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal on the link in the description, you can write a little note and I'll read it just like a super chat, or just drop a super chat right now. Or check out the merch store. The link is in the description. You can cop a shirt just like this one. This is my favorite shirt. So guys, make sure to support us, support the show, go buy a t-shirt, go buy a water bottle, go buy a phone case for your girlfriend, for your son. These are dope logos. I really like them, especially if your kid is into skating and all that cool stuff. They'll probably like this stuff and not even realize what it is. So if you guys would like to support us, that is how you guys can do that. So let's do some super chats right now. Let me pull this up. And I hope you guys had a great weekend, by the way. It's been hot. Especially down in Tucson, it was hot. It was very, very hot. It's another reason why I didn't want to get into it with the Border Patrol agent. We have a super chat from Pretty Boy Jeremy with a $10 super chat. We salute you. Pretty Boy Jeremy says, "Thank you. I really needed to hear this. I'm going to start protesting these grifters who destroyed our communities." And I encourage people, you have the First Amendment right to peacefully protest, to peacefully assemble and protest these people, man. Especially, listen, I'm telling you, man, especially black people, you guys have to seriously come out against Black Lives Matter. White people ain't going to be able to do it. It's going to be you guys. You know what I'm saying? There's got to be like an answer to BLM. I guess people would say that's kind of like what Blexit is, but they don't really do much. No offense, They do their events here and there, but compared to what BLM is doing, you know what I'm saying? And this isn't an offense to Blexit, Candace, and what they do. I love them. But what I'm saying is I personally don't think Blexit does as much as Black Lives Matter does. And that could be because of funding, but that's kind of my point. Black people need to get more active. They need to be more vocal. It doesn't have to be about conservatism, man. It could just be about your existence. It's like, these people don't represent me, period. This isn't Republican, Democrat. These freaking communists just do not represent me. Don't let them gain a monopoly on you, man. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say, man. We got another super chat from Julie Ann, a $2 super chat. We salute you. Julie Ann says, Margaret Sanger, you're right. Look up the N-Word Project. Yeah. A lot of people don't realize this, man. I think it is a lack of information. Margaret Sanger, the origins of Planned Parenthood, this woman believed in eugenics because the Nazis were working with Americans. A lot of people, listen, people don't want to talk about this. They were. And they were predominantly Democrats, Americans that were into eugenics, that were predominantly liberals and Democrats that were racists. They really liked what Adolf Hitler was doing, and they wanted to get in on that. So they started it in the United States of America, and they carried this stuff on, okay? And they all bought into it. They loved the Nazis as well. And so part of what she believed was that black people and minorities were going to suffer more if they were born, because they would just be poor and they would be victims, and they wouldn't be able to do anything for themselves. So they should just die. Just sterilize the women. Does that sound familiar to you? You're still hearing that to this day, bro. Black people, you should have the right to kill your own babies in the womb. It's going to be worse for them to live anyways because you're such a victim. That came from somewhere, bro. That came from somewhere. That's why I tell women, stay the hell away from birth control, man. That was designed to sterilize you in your womb. Very, very scary stuff. But a lot of minorities, especially black people, they don't know the origins of this stuff. She was a racist. She believed in eugenics. She believed that black people and minorities needed to be sterilized because they'd be worse off living in this world because they would just be suffering and living in poverty. Victims, useless, not smart enough, not wealthy enough. Sound familiar? Here we are to this day. And now in 2021, the black community on the left has been convinced that it's a good thing to sterilize their own women. They've been convinced that it's a good thing to slaughter their babies in the womb. That came from somewhere, bro. That's where the real racism is. And it's the Democrat Party that refuses to talk about this. Just saying. I'm just saying. To this day. To this day. Alrighty, we have another super chat from Rebecca Foster. We salute you, Rebecca. Thank you so much for the continual support. Rebecca says, have you talked about the Blue's Clues cartoon episode yet? Which one? Because there was one I talked about like a long time. Did they make another one now? I think I saw it. So there's another one? Yeah, they've been doing this. This is nothing new. I'm sorry I'm late in the chat. Thank you and your team for all you work and do. Please visit Destin, Florida 30. Yeah, definitely will. There's some stuff coming up in Florida that I think I will be a part of. But yeah, Blue's Clues has been kind of throwing this pride stuff. I did an episode maybe about 3 months ago, talking about how Blue's Clues was starting to infuse all the pride flags. So it's no surprise to me that they finally came out with a song and their march and stuff. It's going to continue to happen, man. You know, it's become normalized. You're seeing it in Rugrats, Nickelodeon. You're seeing it everywhere. The critical race theory, the indoctrination. It's one thing to go after adults, okay? But it's another thing to go after children. These people, this is all strategically designed to cause confusion in the mind of a child. That's what it's for. Okay, that's why you're seeing in California, they want to ban in department stores the boys and the girls section. It's all targeting kids. Children. Okay? Now, I always tell parents, whether you're a liberal or a Democrat, anytime the federal government is starting to come in and attempt to dictate how your kids are going to start to view the world, you should be extremely concerned, because I don't care what your views are. Those people do not have the right to raise my children the way that they want them to be raised in the culture. Period. And that's what you're seeing in schools. That's what you're seeing in the culture. Now you're seeing it in department stores. It's designed to confuse your kids. That's what it's for. They're targeting babies, bro. So I always tell people, man, you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. You give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. That's why it's in Blue's Clues, it's in Nickelodeon, it's in all this stuff. It's all propaganda. It's intentional. It's to target children, because if you could get to the mind of a child at a young age, it will influence their future. And that's what they want. Stop watching it. People need to stop watching that garbage, man. It's terrible. It's truly, truly, truly terrible. And it's trash. Poor Blue. Who would have ever thought, growing up watching Blue's Clues as a kid, man, that we would be here? It's sad. It is truly sad. Okay, we have some donations on Venmo and PayPal. I'm going to pull up this one on PayPal. We have a $10 donation. Let me pull this up real quick. We have a $10 donation from Rachel Webster. We salute you, Rachel. Rachel says, did you see DeSantis signed a bill barring trans women from women's sports today? Yep. On the first day of LGBT, Pride Month. G move. Yeah, that dude's a Chad, man. I'm really liking what he's doing. By the way, been broke recently, but hopefully you see my email about sending a gift to you. Well, your wife, LOL. Yeah, I'll take a look at that. I don't know what your email address is, but I'll try and find it. My email's crazy. But yeah, I think what Ron DeSantis is doing, total G move. Yeah, I agree. Dropping policy like that on Friday, just banning, basically transports, banning males to be able to compete against women in the name of being a trans woman. I like what he's doing. And the reason why I like what Ron DeSantis is doing is because he just doesn't care. And that's what an America First candidate is going to model off of Donald Trump. Do what's right. Do what's necessary. Not only do what's American, but do what's right and do what's necessary for the people. And who gives a damn what the left says? Let the chips fall where they may. We have to do what's right for the people. Let them freak out. Let them squirm on the first day of their Pride Month. Screw them. Let them have a month. Christ will have eternity. Let them have their damn month. They can have it. You can have your month. Christ will have eternity. That day will come where we come back and this whole community will see the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. And I will be sitting there with a smile on my face and saying, yeah, I hope you enjoyed your month because now you got to face eternity. And I pray that these people come to Jesus. That's on their own dime. That's on their own free will. That's on their own decision. But I'll tell you this, let them have their own damn month because Christ has eternity. And that's what I look to every single day of my life. If you guys agree with that, drop a 1 in the comment section below because that's some base stuff right there. And Ron DeSantis is a G. I agree. We have another super chat from, what is this? Oh, sorry. This is on Venmo. We have a $5 donation on Venmo from Vilma Ramirez. A $5 donation from Vilma Ramirez says, keep up the good work, my fellow Latino friend. Thank you so much. Listen, this is why I'm so passionately, openly, aggressive, and vocal is because, the Latino community, they're coming for us, man. We're next. Understand this. What they've done to the black community, they want a monopoly on us next. That's why I'm trying to get ahead of it as much as I can. Listen, I'm shadow banned. I'm deboosted. Thank God I'm on a Real America's Voice every single day. Thousands of views. Thank God for that, right? But they're coming for us next. They're coming for the Latinos next. What they've done to the black community, they want a monopoly on us next because we are now the next biggest non-whiting voting bloc, and the Democrats want to capitalize that and monopolize that. So I could do as much as I can speaking out, rallying people, waking up the Latino community to realize that this is coming. Because these people, look what they've done to the black community. Look what they've done to these communities. It's very hard to come back from. And I think the Latino community, listen, this is the one thing, and I've told people this, I've even said this on InfoWars, and I don't think people like when I say this, but I say it anyways because I think it's true. These people from Honduras, from Guatemala, they're not going anywhere, okay? They're here. Biden is not going to deport them. They're not going anywhere. They're now here. They're in this country. They're staying. Conservatives, Trump supporters, you need to understand this, okay? They're not going anywhere. I'm not saying I support it. I'm not saying I support illegal immigration. What I'm saying is they're not going anywhere. And they will probably most likely vote for the ones that opened up the door for them. Democrats. I think if conservatives were smart, I think if Hispanic organizations and outreach organizations were smart, they would get ahead of this and start really outreaching and engaging these communities to explain to them that this is all happening by design. Now just think with me. What if we can reach these communities and explain to them, hey, you've been manipulated. You have been brought here. You've been caused to think that you can come to this country freely and illegally. Obviously, number one, you have to be legal. But number two, I think we really do have to reach these people and explain to them, hey, listen, you have been brought here by a political party that literally only wants to use you as a vote and literally only wants to use you as a body. You don't have to be a slave to those people. You can think for yourself. You can live for yourself. You can vote for yourself if you find citizenship someday. I think that's the least we can do. I say this stuff and, people are like, no, Drew, just get him out of the country. Okay, who's going to get him out? Who? Biden is giving citizenship to 11 million people at the swipe of a freaking pin, okay? So, we got to be realistic at this point. I understand. I don't like illegal immigration, but we're in this country with a party and a government that's just allowing it now. What do? I think the least and most strategic thing we can do is reach these people and really explain to them what is going on here and maybe even try and change their voting patterns and the way they think, because if they get made legal, then they can start voting. I know people are saying, call ICE. They're not going to do anything. You got Biden in office, fool. Seriously. What are they going to do? Border Patrol agents have been gagged at the border. Border Patrol agents are pissed that they cannot turn people away now, that they have to let all these people in the country. We got a government that has now literally opened the borders. That's all I'm saying, man. Trying to give some kind of solutions to a seriously big problem. But you know how it is, man. You know how I get down. Alrighty, guys. Let's see if we have any more super chats before I let you go. Okay, we got a couple here. Thank you guys for the support. Truly appreciate it, man. This channel's just destroyed, so thank you guys for supporting us. We have another super chat from Chrissy Richardson, a $5 super chat. We salute you. Chrissy Richardson says, did you see the thing about the first grader teacher teaching her class it's okay to touch yourself? So nasty. Love you and all you do. I haven't. Somebody send me a link. It doesn't surprise me because you got a bunch of perverts that are now teaching children, all these millennials that are getting out of college. They're going to become elementary teachers, kindergarten teachers, first grade teachers, second. They're going to go into junior high and high school. All these perverts that don't think that having separate bathrooms is logical. This worldview is perverted, okay? So now these people are going to take their perverted worldview, okay, arguing over whether boys are boys and girls are girls. They're going to become teachers. They're going to become educators, and they won't be able to discern any right or wrong if it comes to any kind of sexual thing. All this stuff is sexual, all of it. They target little kids about their penises and their vaginas. 6-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 4-year-olds. They want 4-year-olds. That's why it's on Blue's Clues. You know how low Blue's Clues goes down to? 3 years old, apparently, according to Nickelodeon, right? And there they are, trying to reach toddlers. The hell does a toddler have to learn about penises and vaginas? Perversion, okay? So listen, it doesn't surprise me that you got these millennials that are now becoming teachers or even older people, these virtue signaling liberals and woke-tards that cannot discern that they've been sexualized with everything, and now they're doing stuff like this. Makes sense to me. I'm not saying it makes sense like it's a good thing. I'm just saying I can see how this is now unfolding. Pure perversion. That's what it is. Total degeneracy. Don't support the degenerates, man. We have another super chat from Great Loudmouth. $5 super chat. We support you. Great Loudmouth says, Drew, here's some funding to help get the Discord up and running. Yes, we're almost good with that. That should this week for sure. Just getting on the ground with Real America's Voice, that kind of changed everything for me. And by the way, which I'll be on there daily on all their TV shows, at least 3 times a day, Monday through Friday. So make sure to download the app if you have iOS or Android, or you can watch it directly on their website, americasvoice.news. Or you can watch it, I think, on Roku, Pluto TV, all that cool stuff, which is really cool. I really like it. It's actually a real network, real network, not some bootleg startup that's, making false promises. Great Loudmouth says, Drew, here's some funding to help get the Discord up and running. Please remember me when it's ready for launch. God bless and keep up the good work. I definitely will, because it will be announced on this channel and you'll definitely be given access. I think you have to become a monthly member, but we'll look into that moving forward. So thank you very much. I truly appreciate the support, especially on this channel, being so deboosted. So alrighty, guys, thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I want to thank you guys. Make sure to share this video far and wide wherever you can. Smash that like button, destroy that like button. And also, guys, if you want to donate on the website directly, go to drewhlive.com. Check out the merch store. We got new t-shirts. We got some new stuff. So make sure to go check that out. We do this show Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every single day, Monday through Friday. And if I don't, I'll announce it either through Twitter, Gab, or the community section on this channel. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're following me on all my socials. The links are in the description below. And consider supporting me for as low as $5 a month on the membership section of this channel. Love you guys very much. I hope you guys have an amazing week. And Lord willing, I will see you guys tomorrow night. And until next time, America, stay free.